Read. Come on. It's recording.
Wait, can you give me, are you getting me right now?
It's fine. We'll just leave it recording.
Am I on there right now?
No.
Okay, good.
It is just
Otherwise
down
I'll move.
Oh, I know.
right there.
These right here going that envelope.
I've seen that for a lot of mechanics on mountains. Now this one's been that your grandfather right there?
So I seen on Facebook that you guys have like a farmer's market.
Silas?
What are res rocks? It says they sell this, and this, and res rocks. Who the?
I have no effing idea, never heard of it. Where did you hear it?
On like the Facebook.
So this is probably Hiram.
Hiram? Okay,
Yeah, and this, I don't know if this is his family or not,
Painted?
but
I'm just thinking maybe
Silas
they
would
did
have been his dad.
Okay.
It could be just somebody's logo.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you it's his logo. Jeremy, you want the director's chair?
No. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making this up as I go along here, so. I think directors know what they're doing,
Who are these people?
Wait till my father gets out here.
When I've seen this one.
Who are these with the flintlock rifles here?
Well, one of them is my dad.
That's your grandpa, right?
Probably.
I believe that one's my dad. This was the Oklahoma militia that he was in after he come back from the service. And when he mustered out, they were given a chance to buy their rifle, and so it only cost him $1.25. So he bought it.
Okay.
But now, if you ever wanted to see it, you'd have to go to Jeannie's house.
Jeannie?
Yeah, because her husband collects, and so Virgil gave him the gun.
Okay.
But Virgil always said it killed at both ends.
Kick so hard.
Kicked like a mule, he said. I don't know, I had a hard time picking it up. I don't know how those guys carried those big things around. 4570 was the shell they had.
They consider that a buffalo round, didn't they?
Well, I imagine you could knock one down if you could hold it up long enough, but they had a box of shells that went with them, but by now they would be no good. I mean, they'd be together, but it wouldn't be any good. You wouldn't dare put them in. And they called my dad back in for the Second World War, but he was so sick that when he got there, the doctors took one look and said, "You can go back home." Okay. But he had got into a mustard attack here in France when he was over there. And I never knew him to be well.
Okay.
Him and my older brothers, they used to go out in the woods, stay all night. I don't know what they were doing out there. They never said, I never asked.
Yeah.
If you want to try, you recording now?
Yeah, we're recording. I started about 5 minutes ago.
This is Jason.
I believe.
How you doing? John? Keelan? I'll probably ask for 2 or 3 times.
But he went, like I was telling you there, he went
This is
out
Marty.
to Oklahoma after he come back from the war, worked in the oil fields, and he met Mother out there. They said she was a little blonde, but...
So she was from Oklahoma then?
No, she was born in Ohio. I can't think of the name now, but
That'll help with that.
Could you state your full name and your birthday? Just for
Okay.
the record for 100 years from now.
Harry McPherson Parker Jr., 11234.
I guarantee 100 years from now, I won't remember it, so I gotta have a record.
It just about comes back to me. What city or place in Ohio?
On the England or? After that? I don't think I've ever even heard of the place.
Yeah, that's the name of it. But
How do you pronounce it?
Somebody that can actually pronounce stuff.
Oh, how do you pronounce it?
here,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I never even heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
but that was right across the river from West Virginia.
Okay.
And but getting back to my mother, I don't know if her parents got a divorce or just how it happened, but her dad was a drunk. I mean, he didn't take care of his family, and so the state was taking the kids and put them in an orphanage. And my mother was old enough that she didn't have to go. But she said, no, my brothers and sisters are gone, I'm going to make sure they're not mistreated. She was very clannish. I mean, she'd read the riot act to us, but if somebody else did, she'd be ready to clean her cloth.
Okay.
But that's, as far as I know, that's how she got out to Iowa, Keeper, Oklahoma. It was part of where she was at. But she was a domestic for an Indian family.
Okay.
And she was telling about one time they were arguing and his wife got mad at him and jabbed him in the finger with a fork. But yeah, from what I understand, they run off and got married. She was tired of being mistreated, and their firstborn is buried out in Keeper, Oklahoma. I think he only lived a week or something like that. And then they come back to West Virginia.
So what was your earliest memory of Smithville?
Not much. We went from there up on the hill when I was 5 years old. I don't know if any of the other ones you talked to, but talk about hollers.
I haven't talked to any of your.
Yeah, when you got the two, we call them hills, other people call them mountains, but when they come down and there's a flat base in between, that's a holler.
Okay.
And when Phyllis's daughter, Natalie, her and her husband was down in Florida one time, and people they met said he was from West Virginia, and she said, well, my grandpa's from West Virginia. He said he was born back in a holler. She said, there's a lot of hollers in West Virginia. But that was surprising. But yeah, we moved from there up on the hill, just was a little ways. But up there you look out and see different things. In fact, the only time I ever remember my mother being scared, we had a storm come through and it just blew. And we could see off in the distance places burned, barns, hay and stuff. But normally, nothing much fazed her. One time I was acting up in school and she was gone, so Virgil took her over and says, you want me to come in with you? She says, no, if I need you, I'll call you. But that's the way Mom was. She didn't put up with much. She had to when she was young, take care of her kids, her brothers and sisters. But she didn't put up with anything.
Was the stories my dad told me true that your dad would get up and take a shelf full of coals out of the hot belly stove and take them over to the cook stove and stoke them up and then go back and lay down for a half hour and then your mother would get up and
Well,
start breakfast?
as far as I can remember, we cooked with wood.
What?
Yeah, we had I don't know, sometimes you see pictures of them, but you build a little fire in there and take the lid off and set your pan on it. And on the end of the stove was a copper jacket that you fill with water, and that's where you got your hot water for. And big bread, everything with wood.
My dad told me to get all your fruits and vegetables in a hole in the hill.
Yeah, Uncle Les, he had a place back in the hill where he could go right from his house into it. If we were going to store vegetables and that, we had potatoes and carrots and stuff like that, we'd make a indentation in the ground, put some straw there, and then put the vegetables in there, and then cover it up with dirt. And of course, we didn't have the weather down there that you got up here.
Yeah.
And then whenever you go in some, you just went out and dig a little hole and get out what you wanted and cover it back up. And we did a lot of pickling. No ice or electricity back up in there. And I remember when I was working at Trilex, the guy that I worked with was from Kentucky or Tennessee, one of the places. And he says, I'll bring you a jar of pickled beans. I said, yeah, I'll eat them. So I took them home. And the next day when I come home from work, I asked Carmela, I said, well, where's the beans? She said, opened up, they were spoiled, so I threw them away. I said, no, that's the way they smell. You just wash them, and they're really good. But that's the only way you could preserve anything, and we'd do that with corn. Had a big stone crock, and you your brine, and blanch the corn and put it in there, and then whenever you wanted some, you just went down and got it and rinsed it off and ate it. It's good.
What'd your father do for a living, did you say?
He was a carpenter. My sister-in-law, Evelyn, she worked at a little, we called it a jot 'em down store. You went and got something, you put it on the bill and argued it. But he had these, carried all these tools in a box that was probably like that. And she said they used to watch him when he was coming home. And she said he'd walk a little ways and set these tools down and set on them for a while, and he'd get up and go a little ways longer. She said they never expected him to make it home. But yeah, like I say, we never did much. He was too sick to really go do anything by the time I come home. But I can remember he had a little tin snuff can about that tall, and he carried a green powder in it. And when his lungs got so full that he couldn't hardly breathe, he'd put a little bit on the lid, strike a match to it, and he'd smoke, and he'd lean over and breathe it in and cough up some of the awful looking stuff you ever saw. And pretty soon his lungs would be clear and he could navigate for a while. But like I say, my older sons and my older brothers and him, they would go out in the woods every once in a while. We had chickens, but he would go over and steal one of Uncle Les's. And they'd take it out, and that's what they'd eat while they was out there all night. But I don't know, it was nice. We thought it was, like my brother said, didn't know we were poor until we got in the service. And, but I remember the start of the Second World War. I was 5 years old when Germany went into Poland and France and England declared war on them. And I remember being outside one night and I looked up at the sky and it was just like somebody had opened an umbrella and all the lines the whole sky was covered. And the awfulest noise you ever heard. And I thought it was nice, but the older people was just scared the hell out of them. Later on, somebody said it was the harbinger to the Second World War, and all that noise was the dying and that from it. But when we were up on the hill, we had a neighbor down below us. They didn't have any kids, and the Stanleys out around the hill, they didn't have any kids, so there wasn't a heck of a lot you could do and have somebody to play with. But we had hawks, they had oil wells, and there was one just down from the house. And had some other ones there, and he pumped them all by one place where he had his engine. And we had what we called a shackle line that run through our backyard, whatever you want to call it. And we used to jump up and grab a hold of it, and it would bring you back and forth, back and forth. And somebody told us one day, he said, "You kids shouldn't do that." He said, there was a person that got electrocuted. He said the storm was way off, but it hit the line. So that put the kibosh to that fun.
How old were you when you moved to Monroe?
9.
9?
43.
And you were the youngest?
Yeah,
You and Aunt Mitty?
yeah, we were the end of the troop. My James was in England in the 8th Air Force. Orville was stationed in Greenland. He was a medical corpsman. And Charles was stationed up here at the locks. And Virgil hadn't went in yet. But he never got out of basic training. War was over. But, yeah, we had been up to Uncle Les's house and we were walking home, and Mother and Evelyn's mother was talking, and she said, "Well, I'm going to Monroe Monday, see Charles and Evelyn," and Mother says, "If you'll wait one more day, we'll go with you." She said, "All right with me, I'm in no hurry." And so we got the chickens corralled and took them down to the store and paid off our bill with chickens, and Tuesday, I don't know, for the life of me, I don't know how we got to Parkersburg, but somebody took us there. All I know was in November, and we were running around barefoot on there. We got to Monroe and it was snowing. So, it's the way life is.
Did you make molasses when you were up there?
Oh yeah, you hurried home when it was molasses making time.
And when was that?
In the fall, yeah. Well, it was sugar cane or whatever, that's how you made it. And
Did you
then,
grow that?
oh yeah. Yeah, as soon as you got old enough to know what was a weed and what wasn't. When you learned that, then you had to get out and hoe corn and hoe that, hoe the garden. But
Do you remember the process of making molasses?
just like you make maple syrup. Yeah, you cut the stalk down and clean it up, and we had 2 big stone pillars that rotated right next to one another, and you had a mule at the end of the pole walking around and around, and you just feed the stuff in there, and the juice would flow into the pan, and they'd cook it. And then after the molasses sets for a while, 6 months or something like that, then it starts turning to sugar. So you'd have probably that much sugar in the bottom of the jar. That would what they call brown sugar now. But that's the way all sugar is until they refine it and make it white. But then we had pigs, and my brother would tell about the time in the fall when it was time to butcher away, and Dad hadn't got home yet. And so they said, we'll shoot the pig, and they shot that pig 3 times. It hit him in the head and he'd squeal, and they said, oh, Dad's gonna get us for this. But he'd call that pig over, boom, and down he'd go. And
Dad, which brother did that?
I don't know if it was James or Charles or Orville or what, but they, then you jump in there, somebody has to jump in there with the knife and stab it in the throat so it bleed out. Then we had a big barrel that got the water scalding hot and dumped the pig in there, and you had to scrape the hair off of it. And then cut it up, and we had a smokehouse. And that's where they put some of them, and some of them they salt cured them. But I remember one time we got a little 5-pound keg of herring from Lake Superior. It was salted, so I remember Mom putting it in a pan of fresh water, and she'd leave it in there for a while, and then she'd dump that out and put some more water in to get all the salt out of them. But we didn't have much to do, but we managed.
What did the family do when they came up to Michigan? Did they just, on a whim, come up?
Well, we come up in 43, so the war was still going on. James was in England, Orville was stationed in Greenland, and I don't know if Chuck had got out of the service or not, because he had polio as a young lad, and he had a bum foot. And he kept bugging the army and bugging them, and so finally they said, all right, we'll take you. And so he got his stuff done, and then they shipped him up here. That's where then, and then he wanted to go to officers training, and they said, we can't send you to officers training. We'll furlough you out. So then, him and Evelyn had already been married. They lived in Wayne. And he went to work for Consumers Power. And he said we went in and they hired him and told him this is what you have to do and that. And give him his little truck to drive around. He says, I know if I messed up they were going to fire me, but he worked there until he retired. But my dad, he wouldn't have been able to get a job anyplace. He was just too sick by then. And when they got back from the war, they worked at Consolidated Paper Company. And where Virgil and Dorothy lived, my brother James, because he was a veteran GI Bill, he bought that house and we lived there. Mom and Dad and I and Biddy and Lucille.
So how'd you end up here?
Well, Dad had come to Monroe with up here, or when we come to Michigan.
Up to.
Well, I was in the service, and I finished my tour in the Philippines, and so when we were rotating back, they said, put in a place that you'd like to go to. And I thought, what the heck, Muskegon? They had a local weather station there, and I didn't get that, but they sent me to Kinross. And I'm coming from a place that one time it got below 70 and we like the froze. But when I went to the bus station in Monroe, I asked the guy, says, do you have a bus going through Kinross? Oh yes, we have a bus going through there. And then he had to get this great big book out to look to make sure. And so he said, yeah, we got one. So I got my ticket. I had to be at Kinross January 6th. And then it took 12 hours to get from Detroit to up here on a bus because they stopped at every place you could think of. And I was half asleep and the bus driver said Kinross, and I looked out and I swear the snowbanks were as big as that truck was tall. And so I thought, what the hell have they sent me to? Grabbed my duffel bag and started walking. And a couple of guys come by in a truck pickup that were going to, must be working on the base, and they said, we can take you to the gate, and we can't take you any farther. That's good. And I never had a good word to say about Kinross. What a hole in the wall that was. And, so every twice a month we got paid in where Jack's restaurant is there by the river. That used to be Lazy Bob's. And payday we'd come out there and have something to eat. Before I realized I was allergic to alcohol, we'd drink to the bar closed. And in the winter time, we'd be the only ones in there. Lazy Bob would say, I'm going back and take a nap. Wake me up when you guys leave. You know where everything's at. And we'd wake him up and come back to the base, and 2 weeks later when we got paid, we'd right back out there. And in August of 56. We were playing cards, 4 of us, and one guy said, no. He said, I can't play anymore, I gotta go see my girlfriend. He said, has she got any sisters or girlfriends? And he said, well, I don't know, she might have. So that was all we needed to do. Piled in the car and away we come. And we come down 221 and he turned left. And I thought, what in the world is he turning left for? There ain't nothing out that way. Because we always turn right, went across the river. And he was coming out to see Yvonne, who's her cousin. And come on in. And we were trying to get 3 other girls from around there because we were going to go over to the point, have a case of beer and build a fire and sit around. The girls were all sitting over here and the guys were all sitting over here, John and well, anyway, she went over to Armela's house because she was up for that weekend or something of that effect. She worked at the University of Detroit. And she said, well, I'll go with you, but I'm not going to be the oldest one there. So they went and found a couple other girls that would like to have a beer, you know. Over we went to the point, and that's how I began to like it up here.
Girls or the beer and bloodies?
Just, no, I'd drink that beer and I'd be so sick the next day. And it took me a while, but I finally realized that you don't catch the flu every time you have a few beers. I gave that up. But no, it mattered. And then, of course, we never had much time together because she had to leave to go back to Detroit to work at the university there. So then she stayed with her brother down there, and he got a job at the Chevrolet garage in the Sioux, so then she didn't have any place to stay, so she come up here to see if she could find work, and nothing, so then I don't know how Father Lawless did it, but he had pull with everybody, and she got her job back and worked there, and then we got engaged in Christmas, 56. And she told the priest at the University of Detroit, she says, I've got to quit because I'm going to get married. She said, he looked there and said, so young? She said, sound like a little hillbilly girl, 13 and you're not married yet? But she come back and said she wanted to stay up here, and I told her we weren't going to stay here and be on welfare. As an outsider, you had a snowball's chance in hell finding work. She says, okay. You go get out of the service. She said, you go down and get a job and find us a place to stay and come back up and get married. Sounds good to me. So when I got out, I went down to Wayne and got a job and found a place to stay and come back up. We got married.
What day were you married on?
August 17th. I don't remember what the day was, probably Saturday.
Was it 56?
Huh?
1956?
7. Yeah, I told the guy that was hiring me, I said, now if you hire me, I got to have Friday off because I'm going north to get married. He says, that won't be any problem. So that's how we started it out.
What brother did Mom stay with down in Detroit?
For one?
Uncle Bun. He was an adjuster, and he went to work for her. You should know who run Chevrolet Garage.
Yeah.
I think he owned that roller skating place in the Sioux there for years before that. Indian. I keep thinking Pinkator, but Pinkator was cleaners. But it turned out good.
What was his name, Roe?
It might have been.
Well, it was road back in the 70s and 60s. I don't know what it was before that.
Well, it would have been. It would have been the 70s.
It was road.
I think it was Roe, which would have been the last name.
And they had the sign that Chevrolet flashing.
But how we got up here was Dorothy Menominee called our mother. They lived in the Detroit, Trenton, or someplace in that area. And she called Armella and said, "Did you see the ad in the Free Press for Algoma Steel? Was that big blue building out there on 28? You probably didn't come that way."
No, I think I've seen it before.
And she says they're going to hire her. And so I thought, well, at least I'd have a chance. So we had to borrow a stamp from David, and I sent in for an application, and that got us back here. I was one of the 21 that was hired.
Was that same place you guys made the tubes for the oil well?
We threaded them.
Thread them?
Put threads on the end, yeah.
But it was interesting. We actually had more fun, I think, when I was working at that little shop down in Atlanta. And for no more money than I was making, we bought a brand new house, brick ranch house, $12,000. So our house payment was $86, and that covered everything, taxes, insurance.
Is that the one that down the way?
And, yeah, in Westland there on
Yeah,
that.
back.
Yeah. So,
Carl was next door.
Yeah. Yeah, between Carl and that story.
yeah. Then they moved to Tennessee, Murfreesboro, I think it was. And they'd come up every once in a while. And one time, David was playing in the bushes. And our mom says, "You get out of there and come in and have a sandwich. I don't want any of your damn old Yankee sandwiches." But, yeah, my twin sister, she had a hard life, I think. I think she lost three babies.
She miscarried that, or?
Well, I'm not so sure that it was a miscarriage, that it was something happened in birth, but it could have been, some of them were that. she was afraid to cross that bridge. And so on our 60th birthday, we were gonna meet in West Branch, have something to eat. But she died before that. She was allergic to perfume and she was in the hospital for something, and a nurse come in that put her out. She never come to, she never come back to work. She could talk to anybody or anything. She died in the hospital. Seems like I was always missing.
There was a house down in West Virginia, you had to walk across a swinging bridge to get to it, had a well. I remember that from a little kid. Which,
Yeah, when you drove up from Parkersburg, then you had to cross that river, and it was a swinging bridge. We used to play with that. You can,
when your aunts lived up there, had a big well, had screen cover over it.
well, we had a well when we moved up on the hill. We had a well just right off the porch.
Oh,
And that was the best water you ever tasted. It didn't make any difference if it was summer or winter. It was always the same temperature. And Uncle Les had a well, but his water was warm. That was up in Smithville. But when we went from Smithville to Beatrice as our mailing address, we just went up on the hill and around. And there at that house. But going to school, we had to, of course, you had to walk. School bus would have never got up there. But there was schools all over the place. But nobody, you walked. Wherever you went, you walked. Some people had a car, but mostly you just walked. We used to tell everybody we walked 5 miles uphill both ways.
in the snow. Yeah, that was my dad's thing to say. Quit complaining.
Yeah.
You got better than I did.
Yeah, and for the life of me, I cannot remember James and Charles. Remember Oracle, just before he went overseas, and I don't. It may have been one time that I recall Virgil, but he left down there when he was 16, come to Monroe. Said he was.
Wasn't James and Oracle came up and got a job consolidated?
Yeah, after their, I think after they got out of.
So before.
Before?
Yeah, because my dad told me the story when he got back from Greenland. He was out of service and went back down consolidated, so I'm coming back to work, and nobody remembered. And then the guy says, listen, I'll walk through it. If one person says he remembers, you have to give your job back. Because they had no file of him on the work there. Yeah, the law said that they had to give his job back.
Yeah.
And nobody knew him, even everybody he knew didn't know him, because they didn't want to, he had no seniority. He said he went to one of the places inside there, and the guy said, oh, you coming back? He said, I guess I am now. He looked at that guy, and he came back to work. That's how he ended up getting his job back, with one guy. So
He was a great machinist. And I think he got Dad's traits as a carpenter. I remember one time he was talking, he built some cabinets to go in when their trailer to go in, and they said, they won't fit. He says, they'll fit. I measured them. He said, you're just trying to get them in there the wrong way. He said, we went there and they just slipped right in. So, but Dad he would tell Mother, those boys are not going to use my tools anymore, because they'd use them and wherever they were, they just dropped them and but he'd have to go pick them up. But she said, the very next day they'd be out there with his tool working.
I think that's hereditary. I can cut the grass and find screwdrivers and hammers laying in the grass.
I was done with them. What was I supposed to do with them?
Do you remember your grandparents, Dan?
Huh?
Do you remember your grandparents? Were they alive? Did you see them?
Well, I don't remember any of them. Hiram, I think. Let's see what. Yeah, I was only a year old. 1935 he died. But my brothers knew him. But I didn't know any of the ones.
Do you have any stories of them that was passed on? Or?
Well, only Virgil, when he come up to Monroe, when he was 16, he says he was standing on the corner, and this guy come by and says, "Are you looking for work?" And he said, "Yes." And he was kind of the black sheep of the family anyway. And so Hildren Fritz had a store and delivered stuff, and he said, he told him, he says, I got an order for a 50-pound bag of potatoes to the girls' Catholic school there.
St. Mary's Catholic?
Huh?
St. Mary's Catholic?
Yeah. And he said, so he said, all right, I'll take them there. I don't know where it's at. I got out there and took a sack of potatoes, threw it on his shoulder, and went through the door, and he said, one of the girls was coming on out. He said, where's the cafeteria? She said, oh, you go right through that door and turn right. So he went right through that door, turned right, and he was right smack dab in the girls' locker room. And he said, they didn't seem to mind.
That was Uncle Virgil?
Yeah. So he said, pretty soon the sister come in and says, I'll show you where you have to go. But that, and then he drove a cab. Said he kept a 38 in the pocket there in the door. He never knew what was going to happen.
I worked for Rosen Chris myself.
Yeah.
I was 16 years old. Actually, I think I was 50 when I lied my age. To get a job there, I was 16 a few months later. I worked there for a short time. That was my first job.
Yeah.
Digging trees up there.
Yeah, he had, in the war, everything was rationed, and businesses got an extra quota for gasoline, and he told Virgil and whoever else was working for him, we'll just keep it parked out there, and then I can get extra gas, and you guys will have gasoline to drive around. And he said when they used to come back down to West Virginia, he said they'd fill up with the gasoline there and drive all the way down, and before they come back, when the oil wells, when they pumped, they had a reaction in the line so that they would fill up with what they called drip gas, and they'd get a tank full of that stuff. So it was hard on the engine, but boy, he says, good you go. But yeah, it was something else. I got my driver's license. He knew the police officer on duty at midnight. So told mother, he says, we're gonna go get his driver's license. Virgil, is that legal? Oh yes, that's legal. So off we went. And went in there and his buddy and he says, okay, and he took out the thing and he checks them all off. He says, well, that's not too bad. Give me my license. I still got I carry the license from that one. But when I come back from the Philippines, and of course my license had expired, and I went into the police station and said, I'd like to renew these, but I've been out in the military and I'm just coming back. Oh, okay. Give me a new license.
Yes?
Good time to eat.
Ask her that. Did the family ever talk about where you guys lived over in Europe? Where'd you come from?
Oh,
England.
Nathan, his dad was born in England, and the other side, William Stewart, was born in Belfast, Ireland. He married Martha Boyd. She was born in England. Yeah, she was born in England. But, well, Greg did that thing with them, and it pretty well coincided with ours. It says Northern Europe, and
1% Jewish too.
and
Oh, we are.
2% Jewish.
But the reason why I was hoping to find something about grandma. You know, we don't really know anything about her side of the family.
There aren't
No, it's
a whole lot of records.
I was hoping that they would come out when I got on that.
What's her name?
Ancestry.
Yeah.
What grandma?
Martha Rosetti Aldrich,
Yeah.
German.
She was Irish?
Huh?
She was Irish?
No, German.
German?
Well, then I wonder too, because her parents, her mother died, but apparently her father got married again, so I wondered if he had a second.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it either, because I was asking Lucille that time we went down there just before she died, if mother had ever talked about the things, and said, did she ever tell you how she met Dad? And she said, no, she never said anything.
Because that was another thing too, is she actually had two older brothers.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. They were on their own, but there was her and then her three younger siblings that, remember you telling me, she took care of them.
yeah. She went to the orphanage with them because she didn't want them mistreated.
Yeah, 'cause they were a lot younger than her. They were a lot younger than her.
Yeah,
I would never get
but her dad was, he never took care of them or anything.
I found that you had a brother named Denver.
Yeah. Denver,
Like the only
be in the book. And the firstborn was Harry Blaine. That was their firstborn. That's the one that's buried in Kiefer, Oklahoma.
Okay, so there was Harry.
You're the second Harry, right?
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know about that.
yeah, Harry Blaine.
Was Denver stillbirth?
Huh?
Or was Denver stillbirth or?
Denver was born between Oral and Virgil, I think.
Did he live after he was born, or did he die just as he was born?
I think he lived a week. Both of them didn't live long at all. But Blaine was my dad's best friend, so I give him the middle name. I don't know, it might say in that book what they died from.
No, I looked, it didn't. I wasn't 100% sure.
Well, I know,
It did give the date, the name.
the firstborn, there was nothing in that book about it.
Yeah,
Denver.
I didn't know anything about it until you just mentioned it. It was another-
Denver is in there.
You guys want me to stop this and let everybody eat?
Are you done?
No, go ahead, I'm just.
I think you guys have asked everything I was curious about, so.
How much older were your brothers than you?
Everybody was born in the 20s.
You and me were born, what, 33?
34?
34?
Me?
Yeah, you and me were...
34, January 34. Lucille was born in 29, and I'm thinking James was born in 21.
So anyways, when you were a teenager, there weren't very many, or even a young guy, there weren't very many guys to play with?
There wasn't anybody. But
All your brothers were gone?
yeah, but they wouldn't have been.
They wouldn't want to.
They wouldn't have
No,
no.
not him.
Virgil was telling about the time him and Buck. Then there was a character. He never drew a breath that wasn't swearing. I think he never realized what it was, but they run around together a lot because it's only I think a week, something like that difference. But Virgil was telling the time he wasn't a very big guy when growing up when he was little, And he said one time this farmer we'd chop the corn stalks and then we'd make a bundle of them and stack them up and wait for when we were going to take the cobs out of it. And so one time he picked up one of them, carried it out and set it in the middle of the road. And the farmer was talking to him the next day or something. He said, those kids, they drug a sock of my corn out in the road. He says, I know it wasn't you because you're not big enough to carry it out. Like hell, I'm not. But yeah, he was a shyster, I'll tell you. I asked him, I said, what in the world did you guys do? There's nothing to do around here. Oh, he said, we found something to do.
Stalks of corn, pull them out, put them in the road. Couple free rows of those, when people were going down the road, looked like they were running into a cornfield. They sit on the cornfield, they brakes squealing, and they drive through the corn. Somebody be yelling. No, they just pulled them out and they slowly grown. The ground got wet, and they pulled the whole thing out, scooped out, sat it, and stood up the road, the whole road.
I remember walking back from Uncle Les's and on the side of the road, the tar would get soft and that, and I'd make a big bowl and put a needle in it, set it down, figured, somebody come by and say, I'm gonna run over that bubble. Get a flat tire.
My dad told me a story about trying to put some beer to the school. After it was closed at night, they went in the schoolhouse, winter. And, there's a bunch of us.
Yeah.
And he said he was gonna drink a beer, he said when they decided they had to eat, they just eat into the old potbelly stove. He said the next day they went to school and they lit it on fire, they put it in the lead.
Well, I can remember Virgil saved me and 3 or 4 other boys from getting paddled. Well, I don't remember what we did, but whatever it was, the teacher lined us up in front of the class and she's looking for her paddle and she couldn't find it. And Virgil says, oh yeah, I says, there was doings going on the night before and he found the paddle and he threw it away.
Do you mind if I scan some of these?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, what happened to the one that showed all your uncles? What happened to the picture that had all your uncles? There's like about 6 or 7 of them.
You don't know, I thought they were all,
Do you want to make it so that the
That's what
budget?
it should be.
but this is Dad when he was just a young man.
That's why we got in trouble growing up. Like our parents.
Grandpa and Uncle Martin were dark.
I was more like my dad.
That progressive. If you look at Uncle Mark, that's where you went and saw him. You took a picture of young fellow over there.
Yeah, boys.
And I think that's goes by.
And then stuff at the church, we get some drinking.
Do you have a picture in there of my dad?
Jocelyn, did you?
I'm just gonna kind of work through them. And
Okay,
I'll sit down maybe, or I can send you Greg or Cindy and try to figure out who's who. It's gonna take me a while to scan them.
okay, no problem.
This is Jocelyn.
Hi.
This is her boyfriend, Joey.
Oh, hi, guys.
That's Jeff, her papa. That's John.
No,
That's
and that
Mark.
picture
These are my
is
dad's.
mother and her aunt.
And then that's.
I mean, her
sister.
sister.
there?
Yeah. That's Dad, Mother, James, Cease, there. They're all on the back here.
Clean the house. Cassidy was gonna go out to start the shampoo.
Are these all yours, Dad?
Yeah.
Car keys, so.
She says he's talking on
The
the.
one you're really quick, he's got a scanner.
Okay.
You got a scanner right there?
Yeah, I'm on it. Facebook or something. What have you. That's work on all. I go to campus and cars. Yeah. It's gonna work.
No, it's just 4 letters, start with that.
4?
4 letters.
Sprinkle that in every conversation.
Conversation, every word that comes out of your son's mouth.
I would have part of that from me, and Bob.
I got that from you.
I don't know about you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking for a good kid, this is his advice.
Well, we had to because it was not.
Oh, the light?
The light.
Oh, yeah.
Not a problem.
Honestly, I didn't even know you guys swore until I was like 8, and none of us.
Yeah,
Me too? It wasn't me though, right?
Denver
that
lived
was the
7
first one, and
days.
then Papa got really, really mad one time.
Huh?
It was like at the old house. and
Uh,
we're all trampoline,
no.
You swore at us.
I just have his name there.
Yeah.
But,
We just like stopped in our tracks. And I think you like realized what you did. He only walks out that part of his life. He doesn't like it when we watch family videos. Why?
You guys all get to see this video. Yeah, years ago I bought that camera and I was constantly filming everybody.
That's her.
well, Dad was, and Mom was married before he went overseas.
Jeremy come over, he's going, VCR tapes. $200. And he's going, yeah, VCRs, they come across family. I'll take these, because all the family is digitized. They're on YouTube now. Everything that I, fun trips, family gathering, Christmas at my parents' house.
Daisy talked to you.
No. She's kind of mad at me right now.
Oh, you're supposed to be the camera person.
No. Yeah, well, we keep getting into fights.
Oh, then I'm gonna have to fire one of you.
None of you yelling at her too, so it's not just me.
I didn't yell, I did not raise my voice.
Yeah,
I
but-
just said I would shut it down. To calm myself.
It wasn't her.
Nana's mad that.
Somebody left the news.
No, not about that.
Still mad.
Yeah, she's still mad about it. I cleaned up, you can't be mad.
I can be mad at whoever did it. I certainly can. It's my house.
She sent it away for DNA analysis. We're gonna know.
She doesn't even know where I put it.
We're gonna know.
I mean, you got a lot of time, because my wife's not me at all.
I was pregnant.
Now you can.
Grandpa gets to eat first.
Get yourself something to eat.
She's eating for two.
Anybody who's pregnant, Ashley Bells, get up.
Oh, yeah, miracle. Yeah, I won't even say that.
How's Tim feeling?
Oh, I asked if he wanted to go to the emergency room.
What's the matter?
He's really sick, but he has no immune system. And usually when Amber's here, she'll take him right away and give him a shot and stuff, but Amber's not here. And we can't get him in there like that, so. He was talking about going to Alpena where she works.
What's wrong?
He just gets sick, his lungs are full, his really bad sore throat, he's. He said him and Greg are very well.
You got a fever? You ready for fever?
Did you want any more?